Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Midday Live from the News Hub. My name is Portia Gabo. Coming up, Medical and Dental Council putting stringent measures in place to deal with persons practicing medicine without authority. We'll go to the Ashanti region where the Ghana Union Traders Association are threatening to stop paying taxes if government continues to allow foreigners to take over petty trading. Coming up in international news, voting underway in Kenya amid tight security in a rerun of the presidential election, which is being boycotted by the main opposition. In our very first story, 4 persons have been arrested after chaos erupted during a news conference by the Abola Piamwe at Gamashi in Accra, following threats by the Royal House to install a new Gamanche. Well, according to the clan, it is the rightful one to install a new Gamanche.
Scores of young men besieged the Abola Piamwe, where one faction of the chieftaincy dispute was organizing a news conference to reaffirm his commitment at ensuring the welfare of the Ga state. Some irate men pelted the organizers of the news conference with bottles, resulting in the clash.
We were all here relaxing when we heard some noise in the house. We saw bottles all over the place. We had to quickly run away with our kids.
We need peace.
Some of us have nowhere to go, so we need peace.
Security personnel had to rush to the scene to ensure calm. It is not clear when the police will leave the grounds.
Let's now return to the area where my colleague Komla Kluche has returned there and joins us with an update on the situation on the ground. And good afternoon, Komla. What is the current situation over there? So my colleague Komla Kluche will soon join me from Jamestown, and we do understand that calm has returned to the area at Abola Piamwe, and there is heavy security presence also in that area after a press conference which was disrupted by some factions.
Jamestown, specifically the Abola Piamwe. This was where the fighting was yesterday when one faction of the chieftaincy device was holding the press conference, and the other one came in and said, no, you don't have the right to hold a press conference to announce whatsoever you intend to announce. Well, the place is relatively calm this afternoon. You can see where the police beast is located, the water cannon vehicle or truck is located. That is where the press conference. The house is just the opposite is on the left, where the incident happened yesterday. It is calm as it stands now. But the concern of the people, especially the young people doing business, is that this chieftaincy conflict cannot continue when business is supposed to thrive. The most important thing for them is that there is poverty in the area. It is endemic. It has become legendary. Sanitation topmost on the agenda of the community. Nothing is improving. And for them, that is what the people should unite and fight against. Now, I'm going to engage this gentleman. He is by name. Okay, he's called Amate. Amate has been renting canopies and chairs here for the past 12 years. Amate, for you, what is the major worry that you think that the people should be focused on than the infighting over chieftaincy issues?
We have a lot of problems around here, basically on unemployment and almost the sanitation problems around. And also this chieftaincy dispute is causing a lot of problem in this area, in this community. Working on this area is not moving on, as we all know, for the past days because of the fighting and the police people are around here with the soldiers moving on and off. It's been a headache all over here. So in these circumstances, we are hoping this chieftaincy dispute will just stop and just come to our aid and just come to our aid and support us. And this chieftaincy is bringing a whole lot of problems in this community.
You are young people. Now, you're, so to speak, blaming the thing on the elders, whichever side. You don't necessarily want to take a side. Do you think that it's about time that you as the young ones will take up the challenge and say the elders must set up, they must come together and fight the common enemy of poverty and sanitation? Do you want to engage them?
Oh, it's true. If the elders or the chief makers all come together in all this community, all these chieftaincy disputes will all be cutting short. Look at this unemployment. Look at the area. Look at the sanitation, sicknesses, cholera, all around. Nothing is moving on here. And good things must follow us in this community. Because big people and big men are all coming from Accra. But nothing good are helping the youth around here.
Okay, many thanks to you, Amate. Let me just speak the thought of this man. He's going to speak, and I'll try and see how best I can to do some demonstration. For you, I mean, the whole area is not too good, you can say. No, you come around. No problem, you can speak your gun. The whole area is not too good. The sanitation is so clear that things are not going on well. For you, what do you want to tell the elders?
Amotone ndoko gbawo na bianshi amotone de gamanchele wo mo ne wo kutu mfemfe basabasa nyele ga papa me ko me ni gbawo na ni wo gan ge fetu mo gbekin bi agan ni ka won ko mbajanche menye yuereko ka wo mene atemene mene yuereke ka mene ka leke wo mene ka leji manche wo mene ka leji manche ka na menyo alo mete no awo manche no any effect mo ko ni gba wona ye kutu no bi government ncha akwe ko ni ni enye ehibie e ka nyina afeni agbena ne gbeke meme ko organize ani ba me fumo to e kan bi ni be fine.
Okay, all right, so thank you very much. What he's saying essentially is that this one claims or calls himself a gun mancher, this one also calls himself a gun mancher. All this infighting over chieftaincy, who becomes the ruler of the Gan state, does not solve the bread and butter issues for them as a Gan people. What they want is that they should sit up and address the common enemy, which is so much endemic and has become legendary. From the Jamestown area of Abolapiam here in Accra, Komla Kluche, TV3 News.
Well, thank you very much, Komla Kluche, for that update. Well, away from Jamestown, the Medical and Dental Council says it is putting in place stringent measures despite its challenges to ensure that all persons practicing medicine without authority are brought to book, while the council's registrar, Dr. Eli Alipui, was reacting to the spate of quack doctors operating in the country.
Since January 2016, 19 quack doctors have reportedly been arrested across the country. 10 of them were arrested in the Greater Accra region, 3 in the Central region, and the rest in the Volta and Eastern regions. 5 of them have been prosecuted and sentenced. The registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Eli Atikwi, hinted the council is in the process of introducing a stamp for practitioners.
The council from January next year will introduce practitioner stamp. Any document that is signed by any doctor in any hospital should have a stamp affixed on the document. In addition, we are also trying now to speak to the Ghana Health Service, all other institutions, the charge institution, the quasi-governmental institution and others, that it is mandatory for a practitioner registered by the Medical and Dental Council to wear a name tag.
Dr. Ellie urged the public to be vigilant and report such persons to the relevant authorities. He expressed worry the council is faced with numerous challenges affecting its work and called for public support.
One of the challenges really that we have is transport. We are a government institution, but again, we have a few challenges. Any NGO or any institution can say the Medical and Dental Council, come and get a four-wheel to go around the country to do your investigation. That would be most appreciated.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where the Ghana Union Traders Association has threatened to stop paying taxes if government continues to allow foreigners to take over petty trading. While the association has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to government to enforce the GIPC Act 478, which bars foreigners from engaging in retail business. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar has been speaking with the Secretary of GUTA, Mohammed Ali.
We have interacted with the government for far too long. And word of caution, we are not asking the government to sack or let the foreigners go back to their country. No. All that you are saying is that the government should enforce the law, the existing law. We didn't, do the law, or we didn't make the law, we didn't create the law. It's our own government, who put the law into effect. So why is it that they are not trying to help us? Go to the market and see. Our mothers, sisters, wives and daughters, they don't even have a place to sell their wares.
And what law are you referring to?
We are referring to GIPC 865 Act 865, Article 27, 28 respectively.
What does it say?
Yeah, it states clearly that retailers have the right, foreigners have the right to do business in Ghana, but they are limited to wholesaling and manufacturing. You see, they don't have to do retail trade. In our local parlance, we call it bojo business. That hawking and sale of maybe small items that can help our youth. You see, but if you foreigners, instead of you, if according to the law, Article 28, it states that before a foreigner can do business in Ghana, at least it should be manufacturing or wholesaling, and there are certain amount of money that he or she is qualified to come because they are coming to invest in the country. So at least the minimum is $200,000 US. You see, and what we see, they even sell their wares on tables, in containers, in shops. And because of, in their countries, the money, I don't know where they get their money, but their banks, their bank rates in business. If in Ghana, if you want to invest, you have to go to the banks for maybe capitalization. How much is our? One may ask, how much is our interest rate? 35 to 40%. In Nigeria, it's 14%. In China, it's 2%. India, 4%. How can we compete with them? And they'll come here and be doing the retail business. How do we expect to compete with them?
So does this border basically about competition?
It's not a matter of competition. We can compete with them, but the conditions in Ghana is not favorable. That's why I give you an instance of interest loans. You understand? How do we organize ourselves and do business? It's by seeking loans from the banks, the various banks. And if the rates are so high, how do you compete? And be careful. Most of them bring in their goods through dubious avenues. We are all aware, we know it. Do not, as I'm speaking with you, it's a Nigerian who clears goods of Ghanaians at the various borders. Do you know that? And we here, we pay taxes. They don't pay taxes. The DR officials cannot even locate them. They don't know because they are not started at one place. You see, that's why we are very serious. Because we are not speaking for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children. In the future, generations to come, they will overtake everything.
You've appealed to the government several times. What is your next line of action? Because it seems the government is not giving you a listening ear.
As I said earlier on, we advise ourselves. By advising ourselves, as the white man will say, there are so many ways in killing cats.
What are some of the options?
Demonstrations. We can even, we can refuse to pay our taxes. By so doing, we can cripple the government if we don't pay taxes. If you lock our shops, if you lock our shops and people don't get petty and eminent things to buy.
Let's now go to the northern region where members of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly have passed a vote of no confidence against the Chief Executive Officer, Idrisu Musa. A resolution on Wednesday, October 25, with signatures of about 31 members stated that members of the TMA have lost confidence in the mayor of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly. Well, among other things, the members stated that the mayor is mismanaging the Assembly's meager resources by paying his self-appointed personal assistants each at 1,400 cedis. In addition, they accused the mayor of constituting and paying 61-member non-functional task force, which costs the Assembly 9,150 cedis. Well, joining me on the phone line is George Cheba, for he is a local governance expert. And good afternoon, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon, my sister, and thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, per local governance structures and its rules and regulations, when can Assembly members pass a vote of no confidence?
Yeah, thank you very much once again, and greetings to your cherished viewers. I believe that the law does not prescribe a specific time within which an assembly could pass a vote of no confidence. But I don't think as of now the assembly has passed a vote of no confidence in the municipal metropolitan chief executive for Tamale. They have only kick-started the process. And the process is a bit laborious, and they would have to contend with the entire spectrum of the process before the eventual process can be attained, if indeed.
So what does this process entail?
Yes, first of all, I believe that 1/3 of the assembly members have signed a resolution calling on the presiding member to convene a meeting of the assembly to pass a vote of no confidence in the MCE. The resolution would have to, according to the standing orders of the House, the resolution would have to contain the issues, that they have to contend with against the chief executive. They will have to itemize the issues. And the presiding member would have no option than to convene a meeting. And then when the meeting is convened, the assembly would look at the merit of the issues raised, if there are charges that have been leveled. And if they find merit in it, then the assembly would go ahead to set up a committee to investigate the merits or demerits of the issues raised. And if the committee submits its report and recommendation to the House, and the recommendation clearly indicates that prima facie evidence has been established, and for that matter, the House could indict the chief executive, the assembly will take a vote on the report that the commission or the committee has submitted. If the committee's report is adopted by the House, then that will constitute enough grounds, and for that matter, a prima facie evidence for the vote of no confidence process to begin. So that is where then the House will have to set a date and invite the electoral commission for the actual vote to be taken.
Okay, looking at some of the reasons cited, for example, some of the assembly members are saying he is using the assembly's meager resources to pay his personal assistants each at over 1,000 cedis. Are there good enough reasons to oust him?
Well, under normal circumstances, this should not happen, and this cannot even happen. Because payment of any staff of the assembly through the assembly's own resources would have to be approved as part of the budget of the assembly. And if the assembly has not budgeted for the payment of salaries of any staff, then it means that it went through the back door, and that cannot be sanctioned because the assembly is the approval of the budget and fee fixing of the assembly is a legislative function, and it's only the assembly sitting as a whole house that has the authority to approve at the assembly's budget. Any expenditure outside the approved budget is illegitimate. And if the chief executive indeed indulged in such a practice of employing somebody from outside the budget of the assembly, then I believe that it's not a good practice. But if he did, on the other hand, he did that with the concurrence of the executive committee, then the executive committee would have to submit a report. Perhaps the situation was exigent and the House had to act, even though that is a legislative function of the assembly. The executive committee might have approved it or might have sanctioned it, and then the report for the concurrence of the House would have to be submitted to the House at this sitting for approval.
Well, thank you very much, George, for that update. George Cheba as a local governance expert. So the issue we're dealing with now is that members of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly have passed a vote of no confidence, or they have begun a process to start a vote of no confidence against the Chief Executive Officer of the TMA, Idrisu Musa. A resolution on Wednesday, October 25, with signatures of about 31 members stated that they have lost confidence in the mayor of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly. Among other things, the members stated that the mayor is mismanaging the assembly's meager resources by paying his self-appointed personal assistants each at 1,400 cedis. In addition, they also accused him of constituting and paying a 61-member non-functional task force, which cost the assembly 9,150 cedis. We're trying to get the public relations officer of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly for an update on this developing story. As and when we get him, we will bring you updates. But away from the northern region, let's come to the Greater Accra region, where the president's nominee of Ada East District, Sarah Dubaki Pobi, has been rejected for the third time. The 40-year-old assemblywoman failed to secure 2/3 of votes cast by securing 19 out of 36 votes.
Voting commenced at 11 a.m. with 36 assembly members expected to cast their ballots. 19 assemblymen voted yes, while 17 voted no.
Voting has ended here at Ada East, where the president nominee was supposed to be confirmed. Well, she lost for the third time. The first time she pulled 13 votes out of 36. The second time she didn't turn up for the election. The third time she had pulled 19 votes.
The results for the elections left many disappointed as they gather in groups contemplating the next action. The assembly members had divided stance on the candidature of Sarah Pobi.
There is some improvement. The first one, it was 1323, but this time you realize that the nominee has improved. So I think there are some small laps somewhere, and I think when the nominee work on it, I think she can have it.
She needs to go to the assembly members one by one, talk to them in a very polite way to convince them.
Competency or incompetency, that Sarah is not competent for the work, and that is the reason why she was not able to get not.
What we are telling government is that the way they regard us, they should change their perspective, because now we will not accept anything like we have been doing. Ada will never accept that.
Irate youth also stormed the center, demanding the re-election of the nominee.
It's very painful.
Why?
With the youth in the town, we are Philippines. We've been in this town for a long freaking years. Nothing better is going on. What we need is development. What we need now is they should approve the new DCE, because we know she can do the work. She have the capacity, the capability. She can do the work. Yes. No matter how she will do it.
What we need is only the DCE. Because for now, we are suffering. Almost getting to a year, we have a new president. We don't have DCE in Ada East. We are suffering, really. Whomever the Nana will bring, we are behind that person, and we are not getting any work.
Sarah Dubaki Pobi would have been the third woman to be nominated in the Greater Accra region. Her fate will be decided in 10 days. Josephine Frimpong, TV3 News, Ada.
Let's go to the northern region again, where some irate youth of Karaga yesterday chased out the chief executive for the district, Al-Hassan Yabdao, from his residence for allegedly causing the arrest of 2 people, while the 2 were suspected to have set a motorbike belonging to the district coordinator of the Youth Employment Agency on fire. So this development added up to latest acts of political vigilantism in the country. Let's update our memory on some post-violence by vigilante groups in the country. So on 12 December 2016, we had some alleged NPP supporters taking over the Tema motorway immediately after the election. Then on 9th January 2017, a policeman at the Flagstaff House was assaulted by some members of the Invisible Forces. And then 13th January 2017, we had NPP supporters taking over public toilets in Koforidua. 22nd February 2017, Kandahar boys of the NPP locked up officers of the Tamale Teaching Hospital's CEO. In the Ashanti region, we had the regional security coordinator being attacked by members of the Delta Force. And then March 30, 2017, caterers of the school feeding program in Atebu attacked by some members of the Invisible Forces. Let's go to the phone line and speak with the public relations officer of the Northern Regional Police Command here, in the person of ASP Yusuf Tanko. And good afternoon and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, madam.
How has the police dealt with this latest act of political vigilantism with the Kandahar boys?
We have sent reinforcement to Karaga to augment the strength of our personnel there. And they've been able to secure the officers of the district assembly, the police station, and also patrolling the town. Normalcy has returned, and we are on the ground.
Have you been able to effect any arrests?
We have not effected an arrest yet. Our focus now is to ensure that we are able to protect life and property and also secure the assembly premises and the police station. The youth who rampaged yesterday were a lot, and we need to ensure that the time is right for us to effect an arrest. We think by our calculations that it is not conducive for us to effect an arrest now.
So when will the time be ripe for you to effect any arrests?
Yeah, we'll be studying the situation on the ground, and when we think the situation is conducive enough for us to do that, we will surely effect an arrest.
But not doing this, it will give people the leeway to go ahead and continue with acts of lawlessness.
I don't think so, because as a security officer, when you go to a place where disturbance has taken place, you need to study the situation and see the actions that you are supposed to take. Sometimes it will be good for you to disperse the crowd and also effect an arrest. Sometimes it becomes expedient for you to delay arrest for another time. But we think in this situation, the prudent thing to do is to delay the arrest for some other time.
Okay. Now the DCE in question, is his security assured?
Yeah, the DCE, as I speak to you, is in Tamale. Yesterday, he came to our offices and he made a formal report together with the NYEA coordinator, and they identified certain persons to us who will be going after later.
Thank you very much for your time. ASP Yusuf Tanko as the Public Relations Officer of the Northern Regional Police Command. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. In other news, voting is underway in Kenya amid tight security in a rerun of the presidential election, which is being boycotted by the main opposition. Police have clashed with opposition supporters, some of whom have been blocking access to polling stations. While President Kenyatta was declared the winner in an August vote, but that has been held again over irregularities. While Kenyatta is seeking a second term, opposition leader Raila Odinga has pulled out of the contest. The election has been closely watched across East Africa, which relies on Kenya as a trade and logistics hub. Meanwhile, international relations expert Professor Vladimir Ntridanso has appealed to President Kenyatta to show leadership by personally eluding the poll repeat. Well, Director of the Academic Affairs of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College noted continued instability in Kenya could impact on the whole region and allow terror groups space to flourish. Well, he spoke to my colleague Komla Kluchi.
It's a very dicey situation in Kenya, a very unfortunate situation. I do not think leadership in Kenya has done the country any good. Leadership, I mean the opposition, the government itself, and the Supreme Court.
The country has shown a lot of divide, both politically and ethnically, as such. After the polls, which I mean obviously Kenyatta will win. Now with security challenges like Al-Shabaab, or do you think that they can take advantage of possibly the security lapses within that part of the African continent?
Sure, that is our basic concern. You know, terrorists thrive in places of ungovernability, places of instability. When you have ungoverned spaces, the recruitment is high. They then occupy those places, those vacuums. And Kenya knows very well that Al-Shabaab at times uses its territory to cause all those atrocities in Somalia. And within Kenya, if they are having obstacles, they attack Kenya.
We also know that Kenya's main port of Mombasa is a hub for landlocked countries like Uganda. How will this insecurity impact on trade and economics of countries which rely on Kenya heavily for import?
The development of Kenya is going to be jeopardized. In the first place, Kenya, Mombasa is not just a hub. Kenya generally is the hub for the interior, and Kenya is a giant in the East African community. Everything emanates from Kenya. In fact, the new infrastructure that they want all the way to the DRC, Goma, is running from Mombasa all the way through Rwanda and other places to DR Congo. And all these things may be jeopardized, may be stopped, may be hampered by instability in the country. Because if Raila Odinga would want to stress things further, then the strategy would be to make Kenya ungovernable, to make Uhuru Kenyatta's governance, the second term of office, very, very unpleasant. In that sense, it means pockets of non-state actors within Kenya themselves will make sure that Kenya doesn't rise. And if that is the case, then the whole region is in turmoil. I would like personally to advise President Uhuru Kenyatta to show leadership, to show some stern qualities to save Kenya. Even if the elections are run, I would want
specifically,
him specifically
to show leadership.
Yes, show leadership by himself annulling these elections again and calling for fresh elections. It will show his statesmanship. It will show that he has saved Kenya, he has saved Africa. In fact, these elections, no matter where it goes, that he's going to win.
But he's only acting on the decisions of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that there should be a rerun, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Let me give you an example.
If he does, he would be going contrary to the dictates of the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, he is the head of state, and his word carries a lot of weight. The ICJ ruled against Nigeria on the Bakassi Peninsula. And so Cameroon should have taken the peninsula just quietly like that. Obasanjo saw how the people of the Bakassi Peninsula were bent on staying there, and his own army was bent on making that place part of Nigeria. He saw the crisis. As a leader, he stood up, called Paul Biya for a summit. They met. They decided on what to do with the peninsula to save their people from the scourge of war. That is leadership. What they did could have been against the ruling of the ICJ, but they met after the ICJ and decided on something which is acceptable to the international community. And I'm expecting the leadership of Kenya to show leadership and save their country.
Let's now go on the phone line and speak with Emmanuel Yegon. He is currently at Cherangani on the Rift Valley of Kenya. And good afternoon and thanks for your time, Emmanuel.
Good afternoon, Portia. How are you?
I'm doing good. Have you voted?
Yes, I voted like 3 hours ago.
Okay. Now, how is voter turnout like this time around as compared to the August presidential poll?
Well, it's good to note that now that it is only the presidential election that is being carried out, and then the numbers, there are no queues because people come in and they vote because it's only the presidential election that they are participating in. But it is true that the turnout is not as it was on 8th.
Is the situation the same in Kisumu, where Raila Odinga hails from?
No, in most parts of that county, Kisumu and generally Nyanza province, there are no elections. The elections are not going on. Actually, some people have been injured while in protest. They engaged with the police, and one person has lost their life, and 8 others are injured and are in hospital.
You just confirming that one person has lost his life in protests?
Yes.
What about
and 8 are injured?
Observer missions over there? I understand that their work is being curtailed amidst heavy security over there.
Well, I have no information at the moment concerning any observer missions, apart from a few who, those ones are local observers who said that they went to some of the polling stations in the morning and they were attacked by those who were blocking the entrance to the polling station.
Oh, thank you very much, Emmanuel Yegon, for the update over there. We will get back to you in our subsequent bulletins. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. We have more news coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In this segment this afternoon, the producer price inflation for September this year was 7.6% as against 6.6% in August, representing a 1% increase. The acting government statistician Bawadia indicated this raise was as a result of an increase in petroleum and gold prices between August and September.
The producer price index rose by 7.6% between September 2016 and September 2017. Producer price inflation in August this year was 6.6% and that of September was 7.6%, translating into a 1% increase. The mining and quarrying subsector recorded the highest year-on-year producer price inflation rate of 11.2%. The manufacturing subsector recorded producer price inflation of 8.5%. Acting government statistician Bawadia noted the utility subsector recorded the lowest year-on-year producer inflation rate of 0.6%.
With respect to the monthly changes, the mining and quarrying subsector recorded the highest rate of 3.0%, followed by the manufacturing subsector with 1.9%. The utilities subsector recorded no change.
He attributed the 1% raise in the producer price inflation to the increase in inflation rate in the mining and quarrying as well as manufacturing sectors.
Inflation rate for petroleum subsector increased from 23.2% in August 2017 to 29.9% in September 2017 as a result of increases in petroleum prices in August 2017. And this sector accounts for about 23% of the weight for the manufacturing subsector. The increase in the mining and quarrying inflation rate from 8.3% in August 2017 to 11.2% in September 2017 was the result of increases in gold prices on the international market. We noticed an increase of about 2.9% in the gold prices on the international market between August and September 2017.
For investors, producer price inflation is an indicator to predict consumer price inflation and extremely useful in analyzing potential sales and earnings. Most increases incurred by producers and retailers will be passed on to consumers, or producers would have to cut costs by laying off workers in the extreme situation.
You're watching Midday Live from the News Hub. We have sports news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Right, welcome back from that break. This is still Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Yao Ofosulabi. Now, President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has announced that Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan has acquired a license to operate an airline. His Excellency revealed this during his speech at the 2017 African Air Show at the Kotoka International Airport on Wednesday morning.
Government has recreated the aviation industry to develop the Ghanaian aviation industry and make it highly competitive within the West African region. I've been reliably informed that the captain of our senior national football team, the Black Stars, Asamoah Gyan, Baby Jet, has obtained an air carrier license and is working feverishly to establish an airline, obviously called Baby Jet Airline. I want to appeal to other Ghanaians, both home and abroad, to invest in the rapidly growing aviation sector.
Well, that's it for Midday Live. For more updates, you can log on to our website at 3news.com. Thanks so much for your company. My name is Portia Gabo. Good afternoon.